Hey, Salvatore Discipoli, hold up 1 second because beautiful. Salvatore Discipoli and Salvatore Omnes. Welcome again. I'm doing two today. I'm doing one here at home because I need to just help out some of my kiddos here because we're doing some composition sentences and some of my seventh graders are struggling a little bit. They reached out to me. There was also a lot of I had to kind of throw down the gauntlet on a class today because they didn't do, or well, there's a recurring population that aren't doing their work like they should be. And if you know me and you've had class with me, I really don't give a lot of homework. In fact, if we work efficiently all the way until we get to, well, quote unquote, the end of class, that turns into homework time, aka assignment class time, where you can then defer to me if you ever have any questions about the homework or classwork so that you can actually get it done before the end of the class period. So then you don't have to worry about Latin when you actually go home and you can just allow the whole neural networks to do its whole skibbity bida bopping so that you can actually get that information in. So this is addressed to some of my students. I know, I'm sorry, there was a little harshness. I had to throw down a gauntlet. And I really haven't had a tone like that before. So you guys know me. You guys know that it wears me down when I have to address a class like that and actually have to give a spiel because I don't really have to give spiels anymore. My students rock. And even though, I understand things arise, we just can't allow them to continually arise where then this whole thing about not doing the homework turns into something that's a little recurring. I want to help you. So let me help you guys out. And hey, if you're maybe in intro level Latin, you're working on composition sentences, let's all work together. Let's be this team, the unit that we are, the Latin family. Like my students, I'm not feeling the teamwork energy if I'm coming here every day to school to teach and throw down all this knowledge that is honestly, it's exhausting. And if you're not showing up and giving me your due diligence and just giving me that 50-minute period of time, then we're not being an efficient team. We can't just have one person carrying the team. That's why we have second string and third string, is because sometimes the people on first string, they can't show up at 100%. They maybe can't even show up at 50%. So I need my students sometimes to sub in their percentage for me because I'm always subbing in my percentage for them. Because you know what? If they give me 20% that day, they better give me their all of that 20%, and I will sub in that 80%. But that being said, you've got to show me that you're showing up, all right? So that I know that I can reciprocate that and show up for you like I'm showing up for all my students every single day, day in and day out, because I love you guys. And that's why I teach, is because I don't do it for the admin. I don't do it for the parents. I do it because I love you guys. And hey, you know what? I do love Latin, but I still love y'all more because you guys are physical, you're present, and you guys are beautiful creatures of the abyss. That being said, this is one that I'm going to download. I'm going to put on YouTube. I'm going to link it to a lot of my students. So hopefully my ramble bamble hasn't been too long, but let's talk about this. Just two sentences here real quickly. And for those students that are watching this right now, let me know if you need any sort of clarification here. But this is just a subject verb object sentence, simply put. So, hey, I guess, this is more addressed to my students, but you know me, got to plug my podcast, Latin and Layman's Rhetoric Revolution. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Cast, Pocket Cast. I've learned of all these other casts. I don't know, I've never, anyways, apparently I'm over there as well. So just type in Rhetoric Revolution, type in Latin and Layman's. I don't know. Go find me on YouTube as well, and I'll shut up. So let's get on into this. So first off, I want to address here. We have noun land here with some endings, and we have verbs over here. I have provided the stems for all the Latin words already here, and we're just going to put in the right ending in order to render the correct iteration of what I love would be in the Latin. Okay, remember, we don't rely on word order, we rely on the endings to give us the information as to how that noun is going to function in the sentence. So let's look at this really quickly. Noun land. We have two cases. Remember, we've gone over those in etymologizing them. Nominative refers to the subject of the sentence, the main character of the sentence, usually coming at the beginning of the sentence a lot of the time, unless you're in a passive sentence, but we're not. These are all active indicative. Accusative refers to the direct object here. All right? That typically, my rule for that is it comes after the verb. All right? So subject comes before the verb, direct object after the verb, and there's the verb. So maybe I've already helped you out in figuring out number two, but let's look at number one. But before we do that, let's look at some conjugation stuff, some verb stuff, because instead of cases for Latin, we have persons for verbs. First, second, third person. O equals I because first person singular pronoun is I. S equals you because second person singular is you. Third person singular is T, which refers to he, she, it. Mus means we, refers to we. Tis, y'all. Nt, they. See how the endings for verbs actually just dictate who's doing the action of the verb. So let's get into it now. I'm sorry, I just gave the answer. I love the way. The way can also be the street. It could be the road, but I thought it would be poetic if I said the way. There's my marker. So if I say I love, I have which this is the stem. Well, if you didn't know, I know already. Think about it. What person and number is it? We already know it's present tense. Person is, if we triangulate my position, looks like it's first person and it's singular. And what's the ending in this case? Skibida bibida bob. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to transplant it right here like that. Translates as I love, amo. Then, excuse me, we have we. Well, we got to finish that off, right? It's pronounced we. Remember, if these are W's. This is a noun, though. Would you say that this is the subject of the sentence or the direct object? We got to figure out, how is this functioning? Is this the accusative or is this the nominative here? Now, what did I say about the accusative? Typically comes after the verb, right? A direct object. Wouldn't you agree with me that love is a verb? Well, if that's the case, then I'm thinking the way is a direct object, aka accusative. Now, is it singular or plural, though? I'm saying it's accusative, and I'm saying it's just one. So if we go to my accusative singular box here, which looks like ring-ding-a-ling, I've got an AM ending, which I'm going to go ahead and transplant right on over here like that. And here we've rendered the correct translation back into Latin, I love the way. So we don't have a lot of time, so I want to go ahead and make sure that we get to number two here, in which case we have the girls love the bear. That F refers to a feminine bear, a female bear, because a bear can be either masculine or feminine dependent on the ending that you use, whether it's in first or second declension. So, girls here. It's at the beginning of the sentence. What do we typically refer to as the beginning of the sentence? Well, I'm going to give you a second, and I'm going to go ahead and write it. Nominative. Is girls singular or plural? Come on. Plural. Let's go ahead and keep on going. Love is a verb. We're going to skip love for a second and go to bear. It comes after the verb. What did we call that? Skibidi-bibidi-bop, accusative. Is it bear one or is it plural? Looks like one again, in my opinion. Or not again, because we have a plural over here. So, here we go. Love. What person and number is love? Well, who's doing the action? The girls. The girls in this case would be referenced to a they, a third person plural in this case. And we have to have a plural subject agreeing with a plural verb because that's what we call subject verb agreement. So if we have plural third person, we've fleshed it all out. All of our information is here. So with that being said, I've run out of time, so in 10 seconds, I'm going to say Puelai Ursam Amant. It's going to translate literally as the girls love the bear. Thanks again, Tempus Est Discedere.